Hello, everybody. Good day. So today we're going to discuss about emotions and moods. So it's actually the fourth chapter in part one, which is all about understanding yourself and others. And still, we are on the individual level of analysis. Okay. So to start, here are the learning objectives for this chapter. And you should be able to differentiate between emotions and moods. Second is to identify the sources of emotions and moods. Third, show the impact of emotional labor has on employees. Uh, Describe effective events theory. Describe emotional intelligence. Identify strategies for emotion regulation. And last is to apply concepts about emotions and moods specific to organizational behavior issues. Okay. So, as you can see here, the first objective is for us to differentiate emotions and moods because I myself cannot differentiate the two. Ano nga ba pagkakaiba nila? Okay. To differentiate that, we need to first discuss what is affect. So it is defined as a broad range of feelings that people experience. Affect can be experienced in the form of emotions or moods. So affect is actually the umbrella term for both emotions and moods. So more general two dimensions, positive affect and negative affect are composed of multiple specific emotions. So actually, we have always been told na you should not bring your problems outside in the workplace. Yung mga emotions mo outside, you should not bring it inside. Parang, you stop being a crybaby. Sinasabihin ka, huwag kang umiyak, ganito, ganyan. Never show your emotions, ganon. So, emotions can greatly influence our attitudes towards others, our decision making, and our behaviors. So, in the previous discussion, we have learned that attitude can affect our behavior, and behavior can also affect our attitude. So, one of the kumbaga intervening variable is our emotions. So, um, attitudes can change due to emotions, right? Iba-iba yung treatment natin to other people because our emotions are different also. Okay. So, ano nga ba ang pagkakaiba niyang emotions and moods? So, emotions are intense, discrete, and short-lived feeling experiences that are often caused by a specific event. Okay, so ibig sabihin nun, emotions are caused by a certain event that made you feel so. So, at the very, very brief and duration. Yun, sobrang amazed ako sa mga pelikula, lalo na sa mga K-dramas, ganyan, because their faces can show a lot of emotions. At in 1 second, they feel happy, pero in a short bit, parang wala sila, tapos babalik ulit. Di ba? Parang ang amazing kasi these are emotions at usually seconds lang or minutes ang itatagal niya. Okay? So, these are specific and numerous in nature. Okay. So, ang lagi kong naalala kapag sa emotions is si Attorney Wu, extraordinary attorney. Because the autistics cannot recognize faces. So, meron siyang parang board na i-recognize niya kung ano bang emotion na nafe-feel ng isang tao, which is really interesting. Ano naman ang pagkakaiba niya sa moods? So, moods are longer lived and less intense feelings than emotions and often arise without a specific event acting as stimulus. So, it makes me um it makes me wonder kung tama ba yung usage ko ng mood. Ay, wala ako sa mood. Because it is longer than emotions. So, ibig sabihin yung mga nafe-feel pala natin na short-lived lang ay emotions. Okay, pero ang mood kasi is longer. Ayun. So, generally not indicated by distinct expressions. Emotions can be seen in face. Ayan. Meron din ako nakita before na recently lang ang amazing niya kasi I think TikTok filter yun or Instagram filter na it can identify, parang AI, artificial intelligence, it can identify your mood na nakikita nila, okay, ganun ka, magiging surprise or something. So, pwedeng binibase niya sa kilay, binibase ba niya sa mata, etc. Yan. So, we have two types of affect, yung positive affect and negative affect. So, positive affect is mood dimension consisting of positive emotions such as excitement, enthusiasm, and elation at the high end. So, that is called your high positive affect. Negative affect naman is emotional dimension consisting of nervousness, stress, anxiety. So at the high end, it's called your high negative affect. So I've searched the basic emotions kasi sabi nga nila hindi madaling identify yung emotions. So but nakalimutan ko lang kung hindi ko nailagay kung sino ang nag-identify nito, but there are 6 basic emotions. So, the first one is happiness. Second is sadness. Third is fear. Fourth is disgust. Fifth is anger. And sixth is surprise. So, ano na nga ba yung movie na meron ito yung sadness, ganon? Joy, fear, disgust, and anger. Inside Out. Ayun. So, makikita niyo yung basic emotions there. Except surprise ata wala. Ayun. So, to further discuss yung high negative affect, high positive affect, ito yung mga yun. Okay. So, ibig sabihin nun, although synonymous ang happy sa elated, ibig sabihin nun meron siyang levels. Like, magkaka-arrange sila pero yung intense na happiness is called elated, 'di ba? Or excited. Ayan. So, yung sadness has a lot of terms to it like upset, depressed, nervous, etc. Pero yung mga yan, okay, ay uh, can be positive or negative effect. So, yun nga, parang nagwo-wonder tayo, how many are there na emotions? How many emotions are there in the world? There are a lot talaga. Okay, like anger, contempt, enthusiasm, envy, fear, frustration, happiness, hate, hope, jealousy, joy, love, pride, surprise, and sadness. So, numerous researchers have tried to limit them to fundamental set. So, meron ngang basic emotions, okay, but sabi nga dito, nung ginawa yung basic emotions, we lose sight of the bigger picture because emotions can mean different things in different contexts. Okay, speaking of this, um, isa sa mga favorite word ko, kasi parang nabasa ko siya, pero hanggang ngayon naalala ko siya, is yung emotion na schadenfreude. Yun. Ibig sabihin nun is happiness in someone's misfortune. Like yung kaaway mo, nung bata ka nadapa, ganyan, pero ang saya-saya mo kahit nadapa siya. That is Schadenfreude. Diba? Very interesting. So, ang dami talagang range ng emotions that you can feel. Especially in the workplace. Like, hindi ka naman consistent na calm. May time na maging serene ka. Alam mo yung synonymous sila, pero may different levels. Ay, ang saya-saya ko ngayon. Parang, I'm very elated about the day. Pagdating mo sa work, okay, I'm bored. Tapos mamaya, you're sad. Pero, makikita mo, those are all negative emotions. Ayan. So, meron naman tayong tinatawag class na moral emotions. So, moral emotions are emotions that have moral implications because of our instant judgment of the situation that evokes them. So, defines moral emotions as those that are linked to the interest or welfare either of society as a whole or at least of persons other than the judge or agents. Moral emotions provide the motivational force, the power and energy to do good and avoid during the bad. Ayan. So, parang for example, kahit nanonood tayo ng video sa YouTube, nakita mo na merong boss na sinampal yung empleyado niya kasi pumalpak or something like that. Meron kang nafe-feel na emotions na it's not right. Parang I feel angry about it. I feel disgusted because of that boss. Uh, Dapat ba siyang maging boss? Deserve ba niya? Mga ganon. Those are moral emotions kasi nagkakaroon tayo ng moral judgment of right and wrong. Okay, even yung sa mga animals sa zoo, ganyan, oh, naawa ako sa mga hindi na sila napapakain, mga ganon. So, one of the examples of moral emotions includes yung sympathy of the suffering of others. Like, we have the innate capability to put ourselves in the shoes of others. Okay, yung guilt is also moral emotions, anger about injustice done to others. Like, kahit hindi sa atin ginawa, na feeling mo, ay, hindi siya na, ay, hindi mo na-promote yung friend mo. Parang ikaw din naiinis na, ano ba, you deserve it. Ganyan. So, yun. So, yun yung mga example natin ng moral emotions. So, but still, sabi nga dyan, emotions are still a mystery. So, a large number of reviews suggest that happy employees tend to have positive job attitudes, engage in fewer withdrawal and counterproductive work behaviors. Imagine, I think na-discuss before yan, yung counterproductive work behaviors like nag-steal sila or kumukuha sila ng mga gamit, nakikipag-away, mga ganun. Engage in more tasks and citizen performance and are even more successful than their unhappy counterparts. Ayan, mapapansin nyo lagi kasi in person, di ba? You always say, uy, parang ang saya niya. Tapos pag magpapalibre ka, ilibre ka kasi masaya siya, eh. Yung parang very positive yung aura niya, na tipong kahit anong sabihin mo or hindi naman kahit anong sabihin mo, pero the small things do not affect him or her just because he or she is happy. Pero yun nga, emotions kasi are really varied. Like ako talaga, hindi ko nga hindi ko sure tuloy kung I'm a moody person or if I'm an emotional person because my emotions change very abruptly. Like in this moment happy ako, susunod parang na-stress ako, yung ganon. So very mysterious talaga ang emotions. Okay. So I have a question here that you can share in your takeaways. Do emotions make us irrational? Okay. So in the next chapter, you were asked to answer a personality test. Okay. But meron doon na is it parang question na ano bang ginagamit mo? Is it your head or your heart? Is it do you think or you feel when you make decisions? So do emotions make us irrational? Based on experience sometimes, yes, right? Kasi parang um when you feel something towards that person, especially, hindi ko alam pero feeling ko ganito tayo like meron kang isang tao na kinaiinisan mo talaga. Like, kahit anong sabihin niya, kahit tama naman, naiinis ka talaga eh. So, everything that he or she says is kinukontra mo. Okay. So, ibig sabihin, may part sa atin na dahil nga we have this feeling of hate towards that person, naging irrational tayo na hindi tayo nag-agree kahit tama siya. Okay. Yun yung example na sometimes, yes. Kaya nga sabi nga nila, do not make decisions when you are angry. 'Di ba? Sabi nga nila parang do not say words that you don't mean or do not say something when you are angry kasi hindi mo na siya mababawi. 'Yun, uh irrationality is happening when we experience especially negative emotions, 'di ba? So, how often have you heard someone say, "Oh, you're just being emotional." You might be offended, right? Ano ba yan, napaka-emotional mo naman, 'di ba? Observations like this suggest that rationality and emotion are in conflict And by exhibiting emotion, you are acting irrationality. The perceived association between the two is so strong that some researchers argue displaying emotions such as sadness to the point of crying is so toxic to occur that we should leave the room rather than allow others to witness it. I've tried this kasi hindi ko alam baka mapanood nila 'to. Pero a lot of times I cried in office kasi ayun, parang I was upset by my colleague, ganyan. So, one of my friends, and yun nga, ang maganda kasi talaga you always need a friend inside, a colleague that you can trust, ganyan. So, I have a colleague na sinasabi niya, huwag mong ipapakita, yan, naiiyak na ako. Huwag kang iiyak, huwag kang iiyak, sabi sa akin. Oh my gosh, parang sobrang dinitiis ko talaga na, hindi ko alam kung nafe-feel niyo yun, pero parang sobrang taas ng emotions mo. Pero sinasabi sa'yo na huwag kang umiyak. Kaya napupunta siya sa nginig, sa kamay, like, pinipigilan ko yung sarili ko. Nalalamig ako. Kasi hindi ako makaiyak. Kaya I'm such a crybaby. As in, I really cry talaga whenever I'm upset. So, yun yung defense mechanism ko. Sabi ng kulit ko, Do, huwag mo ipakita na weak ka. Di ba? Especially in the workplace. Huwag kang iyak, huwag kang iyak. You always have to be strong inside. So, natatry ko, ayun, basta, siyempre connect yan. Later on, makikita nyo na different personalities react differently, mga ganun. Pero, um, emotions can really affect our decisions. Okay, na sometimes yun nga, hindi ka nagiging rational because of emotions. So, tuloy natin to. Yan, this perspective suggests a demonstration or even experience of emotions can make us seem weak, brittle, or irrational. However, our emotions can make our thinking more rational. Ayun. Ito yung side naman na, no, it can make us irrational, at, but not always. So, because our emotions provide information about how we understood the world around us and help us guide our behaviors. So, for instance, individuals in a negative mood may be able to discern truthful from inaccurate information that are happy in a happy mood. So-called rationality does not acknowledge that people are, by nature, emotional. We would do best to recognize and understand our own emotions. So, hindi naman laging yon. If you would ask me, ano ba dapat ang ginagamit sa pagde-decide? Is it our brain or is it our heart? I think both dapat. Kasi parang if you use your brain and you do not use your heart, parang parang ano siya, redundant, pero magiging heartless ka. I mean, 'di ba, hindi mo nilalagay yung shoes mo in the shoes of others. As managers, 'di ba, ang kailangan talaga natin is we need to be rational, we need to think kung ano yung objective na gagawin. Pero at the same time, you need also to feel, ano bang mafe-feel nitong empleyado na 'to 'pag magla-lay off, ganyan. So, ang hirap 'no? As you can see, it's really a big challenge for managers to, lead a team like this, or being a manager is really tough kasi nga iba-iba talaga ng mga tao na ma-encounter. Ayun. So, ano nga bang sources ng ating mga emotions? Okay. So, number one daw na source ng emotion natin is your personality. So, yung personality is like your, um, uh, it's like your enduring characteristics. Ayan. So, yung personality mo, ayun nga sinasabi nila, people will always say that I have a bright personality. So, ibig sabihin, they always see me as happy, as mataas yung energy, ganyan. So, my emotions comes from my personality. Okay. So, may times naman, at ano nga, sa workplace yon. So, sometimes naman na may mga na-encounter ko kasi I'm really an observant person. Like sa workplace, ako yung, okay, hindi maganda yung mood nito. Kasi parang alam mo na sa mukha pa lang, I can really read emotions or moods for that matter. Pero may mga, ay hindi, kasi makakompara mo na, ay hindi siya wala sa mood. Personality niya lang talaga yan. Di ba? So yan, personality. So, number two is time of the day. Ayan. See, people can really relate siguro this time. Kasi for example, in a workplace, tapos meron kang dumating. Meron kayong call time, like 5 a.m., meron kayong event. Tapos yung taong yon is hindi ka kinakausap. Okay, you can have conclusions. Number one, ay, galit siya sa akin. Okay, meron siyang galit sa akin kaya hindi niya ako pinapansin. But, another reason can be the time of the day kasi sobrang aga niya. Okay, may mga tao talagang hindi morning person just like me. Ayoko talaga ng mornings. Late kasi akong natutulog. So, pag umaga talaga, I'm really, really grumpy. Hindi naman really, really grumpy. Pero I need a certain period of time to recover pagkagising. So, yun. Ito rin ang dahilan, class, bakit pag magpapaalam kayo sa boss, is kailangan yung tumiming. Okay, na anong oras ba ako magpapaalam? Yung pauwi na ba? Yung pag-umaga, ganito, ganyan. Yan. Okay, second is, third, rather is days of the week. Days of the week, alam niyo na yan. What is the worst day for employees? Okay. Okay, that's right. It's actually Mondays, di ba? Everybody hates Mondays. Dito sa atin sa UP, feeling ko Tuesday. Kasi it's the start of our classes. Pero alam nyo, merong natawa ako kasi it's real na parang sabi niya, job posting to ha, sabi niya, parang if you love Mondays, then parang apply, ganyan-ganyan. Parang gusto nila na criteria is you love Mondays. Because many people hate Mondays. Kasi parang start of the week, bitin yung bakasyon, gano'n. Okay. The fourth source of emotion and mood is your weather. Ayan, medyo parang nag-enjoy yata ako. Bilisan ko ng konti kasi natatagalan ako. Pero weather, kaya meron yung I'm feeling under the weather. I'm feeling not okay because of the weather. One thing about me is I love yung gloomy weather. Ayoko kasi ng mainit. So, imbis kapag mainit talaga, super grumpy ako. And may mga ilan naman na kapag gloomy yung weather, parang, ano ba yun, nakakalungkot naman yung weather. Kahit sa office namin, napapansin ko, alam, makulimlim, parang nakakaantok, ganon. So, di ba, different weathers. Yun, forecasting love and weather. Palit ko yun na parang merong part doon na dahil nga bumabagyo, nagkakaroon din ng intense emotions yung mga tao, nagagalit sila or something. Yun. So, obviously, ang isa sa mga major source talaga ng emotions and moods ay stress. Di ba? So, stress in such a way, yung negative stress natin dito, yung distress. Okay. What else? Sleep. Ito pa. Alam niyo na yan kapag sa sleep, kapag kulang ng tulog, parang hesitant kang kausapin or grumpy ka rin. Wala akong tulog, huwag mo akong kakausapin. Pag sa office namin, meron akong isang friend na yun nga, alam ko kung hindi siya nakatulog, kasi pagdating niya palang masungit na siya, hindi to nakatulog. Ganon. So, it really pays also to, sabi nga, may, yon sinasabi sa akin dati, or may nagsabi sa akin, special someone. Wow, special someone. Special person, sabi niya. Makinig sa mga bagay na hindi sinasabi. Ayun. Parang makikita mo kaagad yung bagay na hindi niya sinasabi. So, huwag ka lang magtanong. Alam mo na masama yung mood niya, gano'n. Okay. Next is exercise. Okay. Exercise naman, yun nga, kapag nag-exercise kasi tayo, nagpo-produce yung katawan natin ng happy hormones. Yan. So, ibig sabihin, kapag medyo, ano ka, grumpy-grumpy ka, kailangan mo maglakad-lakad, mag-take a break, gano'n. And, of course, yung sa gender. Okay. Pero, kasi, this is something na stereotype din, di ba? Like, women are more emotional than men, ganyan. So, meron bang truth about this? So, although there have been several reviews that have found differences in emotional display across genders that tend to increase with age, ito pa, 'di ba yung sa sources, emotions, and news, ay ano ang palatandaan namin dati, kapag mga teacher, nung elementary ha, elementary or high school ay 'pag matandang teacher masungit. Gano'n din ba kayo dati? So, may mga stereotype talaga tayo na gano'n 'no. Pero this one, in terms of age daw, parang nagkakaroon nga ng parang differences in emotion across genders, and they tend to increase with age. Pero yun nga, although merong research, they tend to be trivial, small lang, or will likely reflect differences in upbringing and stereotypes. So, wala siyang katotohanan. Ayan. So, ang stereotype kasi natin sa women nga is emotional. Yung men is always angry. 'Di ba? Mas nurturing daw yung women kaysa men. Ganyan. Pero, these are all stereotypes. So another term here that you should remember, okay, in terms of workplace rin is yung emotional labor. Okay, so emotional labor is employees' organizationally desired emotions during interpersonal transactions at work. I've said earlier na kahit na grumpy ka, okay, for example, meron ako nakita sa Facebook na um, CCTV footage siya na yung teacher is parang super tired siya, he looks so tired, ganyan, parang wala siya sa mood. Pero pagdating niya sa door, parang huminga siya ng malalim. Tapos nag-practice siya ng ngiti niya. Okay. Tapos pagpasok niya, happy-happy na siya kahit mayroong deep inside, meron siyang pinagdadaanan. So that teacher may have emotional labor. Yung iba yung nafe-feel mo sa pinapakita mo just because the work requires it. Like, kailangan mong ngumiti. Isipin mo ikaw yung receptionist or even flight attendant na kailangan super duper ngiti ka. Pero deep inside, meron ka ng pinagdadaanan. Pero dapat ngumiti ka pa rin kahit hindi ka makangiti. So, nagkakaroon ng emotional labor. Okay, so yun nga, parang fino-force ka ng ngumiti. Eh, hindi ka naman talaga palangiti. Yung ganong tipo. So, emotional labor or emotion work is a requirement of a job that employees display required emotions toward customers or others. Siyempre, ito yung mga frontliners usually. So, examples are nurses, doctors, waiting staff, and television actors. Ayan, pati sa mga artista, 'di ba? Hindi ko alam kung may problema sila kasi lagi naman silang nakangiti. So, the jobs that require emotional labor is customer service, flight attendants, hospitality industry, caregiving professions, teachers, and professors. Oh, meron ba akong emotional labor today? What do you think? Okay. Yun nga, personality ko kasi is innately happy naman in general. Okay. Hindi ko lang sure kung mapapansin niyo, pero afterwards, dahil mataas yung energy ko, nandibis na ganito lang. So tired. So, taxi drivers, employees working in human resources, hindi naman tututo. Ay, nainis ako kasi sa mga organizations na napuntahan ko, di ba, yung HR sila dapat yung laging nakangiti, ganon. Pero, contrary, yung madalas na napapakita. So, hopefully, di ba, magkaroon ng better treatment sa mga employees, sa mga HR. Anyway, so law enforcement personnel. Okay. So, to further discuss yung emotional labor, yan. So, expression of organizationally desired emotions during interpersonal transactions at work. Pero ang problema dito is nagkakaroon ng emotional dissonance. So, yun nga, iba yung pinoproject mo. Okay, nakangiti ka, pero deep inside yung puso mo, sakit pala, ganon. Ayan. So, to discuss that kasi meron tayong, or to analyze yung emotional labor class, meron tayong dalawang types ng emotions. Yung felt, yung nararamdaman mo, and yung display. Pwedeng magkaiba yun eh. Yung felt is actually your actual emotions, ano yung talagang nafe-feel mo. Yung displayed emotions, ito yung required na i-display mo in your job. Okay? So, may mga ilan naman na required talaga silang seryoso ang mukha. Baliktad. Okay. Can you give some examples na dapat seryoso yung mukha mo? Hindi ka puwedeng yung happy, 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 gano'n, na jobs. Can you think of any? Ayan, you can comment them in the comment box. Okay. So, um, kapag nagde-display tayo ng fake emotions, okay, ibig sabihin nun, yung dine-display natin is yung hindi yung nararamdaman talaga natin. It requires us to suppress yung real ones. Natatakpan siya. Okay, so meron tayong tinatawag na surface acting. It's hiding inner feelings and forgoing emotional expressions in response to display rules. And yung deep acting, trying to modify your inner feelings based on display rules. Okay, 'di ba? We are sometimes forced to do deep acting. Like, ikaw mismo is minomodify mo kung ano nafe-feel mo kahit hindi mo yun talaga nafe-feel. Okay, it's because it is required in your work. Ayun, so that's emotional labor. So another one is yung affective events theory. This proposes that employees react emotionally to things that happen to them at work, and this reaction influence their job performance and satisfaction. Okay. So it's a psychological model designed to explain the connection between emotions and feelings in the workplace and job performance and behavior. So ang main lang naman ng affective events theory is may connection talaga ang emotions mo towards your job, towards your performance. So, it underlined by the belief that human beings are emotional and their behavior is guided by emotions. So, kung tapos na kayo sa BA 101, di ba, nagkaroon din na nga ng evolution yung ating management theory from yung tinitreat lang tayo as robots hanggang sa nagkaroon ng human relations approach na ano ba, tao sila, they are not robots, they're not machines, gano'n. So, another framework that we should see to understand the impact of emotions on job performance is actually emotional intelligence. So, ito yung gusto ko talagang ma-achieve. Like, may mga tao talaga na makikita mo. By the way, emotional intelligence and emotional quotient are the same. So it's a person's ability to perceive emotions in oneself and others, understand the meaning of those emotions, and regulate his or her own emotions accordingly. I personally, um, gusto ko talagang maging emotionally intelligent manager kapag ako nang naging manager. Alam ko lahat sana kung paano yung i-display kong emotions, naiintindihan ko rin yung emotions ng iba, gano'n. So, meron tayong 5 components ng emotional intelligence: social skills, self-awareness, decision-making, empathy, and self-regulation. So, especially for self-regulation, that you are, sometimes kasi your emotions control you, na may masasabi ka talaga na hindi maganda, lalo sa work. Yung parang, ganun ako, nainis ako kasi pag may nasabi ako, at hindi ako nag-ingat, magsisisi naman ako afterwards, 'di ba? So, kailangan i-regulate mo talaga yung emotions mo before pa siya mag-transform into behavior. Okay, another one is empathy. This one is one of my favorite components kasi it's putting your shoes in the shoes of others. Hindi ibig sabihin na hindi nangyari sa'yo, wala ka ng pakialam. Yeah. Kumbaga, 'di ba, for example, sa workplace, yun nga yung may na-promote na nag-promote sila tapos yung friend mo hindi na-promote. Okay. It's okay to feel uh anger kahit hindi ka nakaranas kasi alam mo merong injustice. Okay. And of course, yung self-awareness. You should be able to recognize what you feel and ano ang cause nun, nung nafe-feel mo na yun. Okay. So, another one is emotional regulation. It's a term generally used to describe a person's ability to effectively manage and respond to emotional experience. People unconsciously use emotional regulation strategies to cope with difficult situations many times throughout each day. Ayon. So, in the workplace, ganyan, eventually kapag kayo ay mag-work na, may time talaga na you will regulate your emotions na gustong-gusto mo lang magalit pero you have to calm yourself. Okay, kasi lalo na kapag may boss ka talaga, ayun mararanasan niyo rin yung mga ganyan. Okay. So how do you this is actually our last topic in this chapter. How do you apply or saan ba na-apply ang emotions and moods? Okay, sa OB. Kasi tingnan natin puro siya conceptual. Ito, may mga examples tayo in the workplace. Pero saan nga ba siya na-apply? So, number one is sa selection. Okay, so, every interview, merong uh, parang tinatanong, how much can you handle stress? Okay, so dun pa lang nakikita mo na, okay, this requires a lot of parang strength. Ano ba strength bang tamang term? Pero resistance to stress. So, ibig sabihin, super stressful ng work na kailangan mataas yung stress tolerance mo. Okay, so ibig sabihin nun, pwedeng gamitin yon during recruitment and selection. Okay. So another one is in decision making. Of course, moods and emotions have effects on decision making that employees and managers should understand. Positive emotions and moods seem to help people make sound decisions. Yun nga, do not make decisions when you are angry kasi hindi ka magiging rational all the time. So yun, in decision making, you use moods and emotions and moods. Pero yun, it should be a balance kasi yun nga, our yung natatawa ako is parang meron tayong laro nung bata tayo na parang heart over mind, mind over heart, ganyan. Yung parang ikaganon mo tapos hindi ko na alam kung anong ibang ibig sabihin. Pero it should be a balance of both, di ba? Ayan. So, sabi nga nila, favorite quote ko about this is, use your brain, use your heart, but take your brain with you. Ayan, use your heart, but take your brain with you. Diba? In decision making. So, kailangan mo pa rin talagang i-feel, tapos, you should always be objective as well. Okay, another one is, of course, creativity. Ayan. So, research suggests that people in good moods tend to be more creative than people in bad moods. Okay. Isipin na lang natin yung mga painters siguro. Although, syempre, depende ha. Like, may mga musicians na kakagawa ng mga kanta when they are undergoing something. Oh, hello, Myra. Di ba? May mga ganun na ginagamit nila yung bad mood or yung negative emotions nila towards being productive. So, ako naman, hindi ako nakaka-work kapag malamsama talaga yung mood ko. So, it's true to me na happy mood equals productive day. Ayun. So, another one is, syempre, sa motivation. Concept of motivation. So, giving people performance feedback, whether real or fake, influences their mood, which then influences their motivation. It's always a good motivational tools like patting on the back, like giving certificate. Di ba, it makes you happy? Like, magpapadala lang sila ng milk tea as a sign of congratulations, ganyan. It can motivates you and it can also lift your mood, di ba? So, there is a positive correlation with that. Another one is about leadership. Research indicates that putting people in a good mood makes good sense. Leaders who focus on inspirational goals generate greater optimism, cooperation, enthusiasm in employees. Kung laging galit yung boss mo, syempre yung mga employees, laging galit din. Parang, you should always walk the talk, right? So, lesson for the leaders also to, um, although syempre nakikita natin yung boss talaga is masungit, parang authoritative, ganyan. Pero actually, when you reflect good mood, nagkakaroon din, uy, ang saya ni, hindi parang ganun, parang ang saya ni boss, oo, mas masaya rin guys, maganda yung mood, maganda yung environment, di ba? Maganda yung general mood ng office kapag okay yung boss mo. Okay? Ayan, leaders are perceived as more effective when they share positive emotions, and followers are more creative in a positive emotional environment. So, ano namang nangyayari kapag sad naman yung leader? Yeah, research found that leader displays sadness increased the analytic performance of followers, perhaps because followers attended more closely to tasks to help the leaders. Oo, meron din palang side na ganun. Like, for example, na nahirapan yung boss, may mga employees talaga na nag-step up to help the leaders. Okay, so another one is your work-life satisfaction, di ba? So, when you feel happy, parang you feel satisfied and vice versa. So, um, yun, very good na titingnan na really emotions, kumbaga, good emotions, positive emotions brings better satisfaction. Okay. So, ano pa ba? Okay. Meron dito, emphasize ko lang, nilagay ko sa notes. Ayan. Ever heard the advice, never take your work home with you, meaning you should forget about work once you go home? That is easier than done. The good news is that it appears a positive mood at work can spill over to your off work hours, and negative mood at work can be restored to a positive mood after a break. Which is true. Kasi meron na naman ako nakitang meme na yung, yung tatay is pinagalitan ng boss. So, parang meme yun na pinapagalitan yung tatay na nag-work under ng boss. So, yung tatay, pagdating niya sa bahay, pinagalitan niya yung asawa niya. Kasi nga, iba yung mood niya. Okay? Tapos yung nanay, pinagalitan yung anak. Kasi para siyang napapasa. Feeling ko napapasa-pasa siya based on experience talaga. Like, ano ba yan? Parang pinapasa niyo, bad mood kayo, tapos parang, kahit sa bahay, bad mood na lahat kasi bad mood yung nanay at tatay mo galing work. Which is true. And yung bata, syempre kawawa. Pinapagalitan niya yung teddy bear niya. Ganun. So, it's a true meme. Yun yung ibig sabihin nito. So, connected siya. So, hopefully, we have a good working environment, positive working environment at work para hindi natin nadadala sa bahay. Okay. So, ano pa? Deviant workplace behavior. So, anyone who has spent much time in an organization realizes people can behave in ways that violate established norms and threaten the organization. So, people who feel negative emotions are more likely than others to engage in short-term deviant behavior at work, such as gossiping or surfing the internet. Oy, nasa ano to? Nasa book. Pero yon, pag negative yung emotions mo, mas ikaw yung pasaway. 'Di ba? Yun. And of course, yung safety, uh, injury at work. Research relating negative affectivity to increase injuries at work. So, this suggests employers might improve health and safety by ensuring workers are not in potentially dangerous activities when they are in a bad mood. Ayan, correct. Lalo pag sa mga buildings, like paano pag bad mood yung mga construction workers? Diba? Paano pag na-compromise yung quality? Ayan. Or may times na kunyari, isipin nyo, grabe ang out of nowhere ng yung mga construction workers nasa taas sila, tapos bigla sila nag-away. Paano nagulog yung isa? Diba? Yun. May mga effect talaga yung emotions and moods. To summarize everything, ayan, emotions and moods are similar in that both are effective in nature, but they are also different. Moods are more general and less contextual than emotions. And emotions are longer, di ba? So the time of the day, stressful events, sleep patterns are some of the factors that influence emotions and moods. So OB research on emotional labor, affective events theory, emotional intelligence, and emotional regulations helps us understand how people deal with emotions. So especially in your emotional labor, na napipilitan kang mag um mag-project ng something na hindi mo naman talaga nararamdaman. And emotions and moods have proven relevant for virtually every OB topic we study, with implications for managerial practices. So for the implications, tips for managers is to recognize that emotions are a natural part of the workplace. And a good management does not mean creating an emotion-free environment. Okay, parang nagkakaroon kasi ng connotation na you cannot feel something inside the work. Inside inside the workplace, I mean. Pero managers should recognize na emotions are part of it. So, may nabasa ako na negative emotions can be used as an advantage. Kasi nga, when you are mad, when a leader is mad, may cause, di ba? Bakit siya naging bakit siya nagalit? So, for you to use that emotion, isanapin mo kung ano yung cause. Okay, so for example, hindi naabot yung quota or something, doon mo direct, not to the people, ganon. So, to foster effective decision-making, creativity, and motivation employees, model positive emotions and moods as much as it is authentically possible. Positive feedback to increase positivity of employees, I agree. Nare-realize ko lang na a small compliment can go a long way. As in, di ba marami naman ng social experiments na gano'n? Like, sabi nila, uy, parang ganda mo ngayon. Napapangiti sila. Okay, at buong araw na silang good mood. Actually, sige, kwento ko na. Pero I am really conscious about my body. Pero meron akong ka-office na every time he sees me, sabihin niya, uy, parang tumaba ka, parang ang taba-taba mo, ganun. Eh, I really feel too much. Kaya sa personality test ko is sobrang feeling. I feel too much. Like, pag sinabihan ako nun, buong araw na akong bad mood. Which is, yun yung gusto kong i-improve na dapat hindi ako nakokontrol ng, ng sinasabi ng ibang tao. Kasi yun, he is insensitive, pero minsan, uh, tayo na rin ang mag-adjust kasi yun yung nakokontrol natin. Hindi natin makokontrol yung sasabihin ng iba. But we can control our reactions to it. And in the service sector, encourage positive displays of emotions, which makes customers feel more positive and thus improve customer service interactions and negotiations. Yung lagi yung sinasabi, you cannot give what you do not have. So, hindi mo ma, ma, mapapasatisfy yung customers if you yourself are not satisfied. Is not satisfied. Understand the role of emotions and moods to significantly improve your ability to explain and predict your coworkers and others' behavior. Ayun. So, you should always recognize the emotion. Like, you always be sensitive. Yung, feeling ko kasi, good point din yung you acknowledge, parang, you acknowledge that a certain someone needs space or kailangan ba niya ng kausap. Yun nga, makinig sa mga bagay na hindi sinasabi. Because most of the time, emotions can be seen, not really explicitly, pero by his actions, etc. So, a manager should always be sensitive. Okay. So, that's it. Of course, our reference is Essentials of Organizational Behavior by Robbins and Judge. Okay, do you have any questions? Let me know in the comments or you can send me an email or send in our group chat for if you have clarifications or questions. Yes, thank you guys. Ayan, medyo napahaba yung discussion ko because I really, really love this topic. So, ayan, I hope you have learned a thing or two and I'll see you on the next part.